Welcome to Ipswich and Briggs Road for this National Premier League Queensland Round 23 clash between Western Pride and Cairns. Should be an interesting game, this one. Western Pride are in a 3-game winning streak, and Cairns, unfortunately for them, have suffered a bit of a slump in their form. It did look like for a moment a few weeks ago that they may have threatened the top 4, but that's an impossibility now. They've lost their last 3 matches against North Queensland Strikers and Magpies Crusaders last weekend. Of course, none of this would be possible without the sponsors. We'd like to thank, from Western Pride perspective, IMED Radiology Network and AU Sports Physiotherapy. In Cairns, I'd like to thank Down Under Cruise and Dive and Trinity Petroleum for all their support that they've given the senior team over the course of this National Premier League Queensland season. A National Premier League Queensland season that's almost coming to an end. We've only got 3 regular season matches after this one remaining. Of course, we then go into finals. It's a top 4 final system, and at the moment, as things stand, it'll be Lions, Western Pride, Olympic and Moreton Bay who make up the top 4. Only one team is able to break up that quartet, and that is Brisbane Strikers, who are currently leading Sunshine Coast by 2-0 at half-time. The other half-time score around the grounds is Moreton Bay United 0, South West Queensland Thunder 0. An important game that at Perry Park. Sunshine Coast will be relegated if they do not win. So as it stands, Sunshine Coast are staring down the barrel of a season in the Football Queensland Premier League next year. Well, we have you. We'll run you quickly through the teams, and we'll start with our visitors, Cairns. Rather thin on the ground, as you can see. Just 3 substitutes named, amongst them Danny Greystone, 41 years old, did play last week against Magpies Crusaders. He did assure me before the game started that he does not wish to have a repeat performance this week. Perhaps he's still sore after the weekend's events, as well as, of course, the midweek adventures that Cairns embarked on in the FFA Cup. We'll talk about that later on as the teams make their way out onto the field. Have a look at that Western Pride side now, and 2 missing couple of players. Andrew Pengelly is out injured, just a minor muscle tear strain, I'm being told, but certainly not bad enough to risk him with finals approaching. Western Pride can be guaranteed of their finals should they win this afternoon, and that is certainly going to be the aim for Reggie Devani's side here today. Of course, first time in a few weeks, we're going to probably see 90 minutes from Jesse Rigby, such an important part of his Western Pride side. He has missed a few games through injury. He's 3 games into his return now, but he will be expected to play the 90, I would expect, here at Briggs Road this afternoon. Of course, Cairns were in action in midweek in the FFA Cup up at Barlow Park, and they beat Armidale to progress to the round of 16. The second Queensland representative to make it to the round of 16 after Lions beat Olympic 3-2 in that dramatic game at Richland Stadium. Of course, we do have a couple of other opportunities as it's all change here. The Pride will be attacking the pit over to our right and your right as you look at these things. Western Pride in their green and white striped shirts going into the huddle now, and Cairns in the light blue. The pit are plenty vocal enough. They were plenty vocal enough during the preceding games of this one in the National Women's Premier League, in which Western Pride ran out 3-1 victors over Mitchelton. A fantastic game that. Seeing some really, really good goals, and the girls put on a sensational performance. Kate Muscat, Sophie Weatherby and Zoe Lambie got the goals for the hosts, and Zoe Lambie's one was really something quite special. She ran from inside her own half, twisting and swerving her way through the defence before burying it past the Mitchelton keeper. Hopefully we'll see plenty of action like that this afternoon as Western Pride, the host, get us underway, kicking from left to right. McHenry flicks it on towards Duckworth, and it's going to fall for Adam and Dean. He goes all the way back to Toyoshima. Minette. Nice ball for McHenry. Should he be able to keep it in? He does, but is unable to keep his footing, and he'll be satisfied with the throw-in though. An early attacking opportunity for Western Pride. It was a good throw. His returning captain, Jesse Rigby. Cairns managed to get the ball away, but it doesn't find its way through to Jamie Carroll, and here's Hayden McHenry once more. Gets past one and wins a corner. In the process, it was Harrison Corica who managed to get that ball out. A good early opportunity for the hosts to stamp their mark on this game. Rigby makes a run. It was aimed towards Rigby. It's going to come all the way back out to Duckworth. That's a good header. Over the top though from Crestani. 22-year-old rose highest at the back post, of course, scored that memorable header here to open the scoring in the grand final last year. That's something that Western Pride will be looking to replicate this season. As I said, a win here today will guarantee finals football for Western Pride for the second straight season, after missing out in the previous four. It's been a remarkable turnaround, and it's been well earned from the side out here in Ipswich. Are doing a lot of things right. Here's Dolores Tuashima, who does plenty right himself in that left back position. Couldn't get past his marker though in Gianni Alebi, the Chilean. Spent a fair bit of time in Australia, in Victoria with Oakley Cannons and Eastern Lions. Crestani. A lot of space suddenly for Bird. Bird still there for Bird, and it deflects behind off Alex Sargent for another corner. It's good early pressure from the hosts. Crestani once more makes his way into the box, as does Will McFarlane. Same towards the back post, headed back across. Parsons is there. It's come all the way out to Bird though, Duckworth, and Duckworth goes back to Minette, and Minette coughs up possession and a counter-attacking opportunity for the visitors. Here is the ever-dangerous Jamie Carroll, ever-dangerous and ever-green. Passes to his long-time sparring partner, Josh Taylor, this season. Josh Taylor is the league's leading current active goal scorer. Of course, he's still 3 goals behind Dylan Wenzel-Halls of Western Pride, or latterly of Western Pride, I should say. Taylor has 20 goals in his 22 appearances, and Dylan Wenzel-Halls, of course, won't be adding to his tally this season. Not in the National Premier League's Queensland anyway. Of course, we'll be hoping to do so in the orange of the Brisbane Roar, hopefully in the Hyundai A-League, which of course kicks off in only a few short weeks. Decent looking ball right into the middle. Oh, it's avoided 2. Parsons and Bird were there to get the ball on target, but neither of them were able to do so. Here's Rigby to Henry. Henry back to Bird. Bird making his way into the box. That's brilliant from Bird. He just puts it over the bar. Lovely football from Mitchell Bird, 23-year-old. Former Ipswich Knight and Redlands United player. He's done incredibly well to weave his way into the box there. And another illustration of just how dangerous Western Pride can be when they're on the front foot. Hit, giving goalkeeper Piers Clark a typical Ipswich welcome. It'll be a Western Pride throw just in front of our commentary position here, taken quickly by McHenry. Rigby to McHenry, goes back to Minette. Minette all the way across to McFarlane. McFarlane to Tuashime. Tuashime almost sells Minette short, but Minette was alert to the possibility and managed to get back. Here's Parsons now. And Parsons turns over possession. Here is Josh Taylor. Crestani to Rigby, asked a little bit of McHenry, and there's a good 50-50 challenge there. Kavanagh comes up with the ball, and now here comes Jamie Carroll. It's a canny player, Jamie Carroll. He knows all the tricks, and he's showing them all there, but he gets dispossessed by Rigby. Once more turned over, though, to Chris O'Hare. An opportunity now over on that far side. Good opportunity for Josh Taylor to have a go. It needed blocking, I think, from Cameron Crestani. Taylor is so dangerous anywhere in and around the box. Crestani on hand to deflect that ball away for a throw-in. Alebi needs support. Didn't get it, only found the feet of Will McFarlane, who manages to deflect it back onto Alebi's feet. The throw-in was taken quickly. Here's McHenry, good touch, disappointing pass. Sargent with the throw to Kavanagh. Sargent, flick, shake of the head from Mitchell Bird. Then a big chase on there for Jamie Carroll, but he was unable to get on top of it. It was a very optimistic pass. And Western Pride keep the ball moving quickly. McFarlane over on that far side to Minette, who needed to be alert. That ball not quite as firmly struck as McFarlane would have liked. Toyoshime. Toyoshime battling with Sean Owens over on that far side, but Toyoshime still has the ball. Shrugged off a couple of challenges there. That's excellent work by the young left back. Here's Rigby. Minette to McHenry. Another great touch from McHenry. Another great pass from McHenry to Mitchell Bird. Bird cuts it back to Duckworth. Duckworth to Rigby. Rigby over the top. Another promising move from Western Pride. They're moving the ball around so well in these early stages. And Cairns, despite being undermanned and perhaps a little low on confidence, need to get their heads in the game here, otherwise this will be one-way traffic. He's still goalless though, and as long as it remains so, Cairns will always be a threat. Tommy Carroll's in all sorts of space on this near side. It's not directed to him though. That goal kick by Clark, it was onto the head of Taylor. Cairns maintain possession over on this far side and switch it to their near side with Zupo. Inside to Kavanagh. Kavanagh rather sold his centre-back Bronson Coppin short there. And Coppin sporting a fairly heavy piece of strapping on his right thigh. Could only see that ball deflect out. Here comes Parsons. Coppin makes the tackle. Strong tackle from Bronson Coppin. O'Hare. Here's Jamie Carroll. Carroll forced back. He did have Alex Sargent ahead of him. It's gone all the way back to square one now, and Piers Clark. That's a good block by Bird. Bit of a let-off for Piers Clark, who lets it roll gently back into his area. Quite lackadaisical from the Cairns keeper, formerly in the Newcastle Jets youth setup by Heidelberg down in Victoria. Also had a good FFA Cup victory on midweek. Watch all those games on Fox Sports, and my commentary colleague Rafe Griffin bringing you all the Queensland action. McHenry with the throw. Confusion is around whether Jamie Carroll handled that ball before it went out, and that is the opinion of the Total Tools refereeing team. Jason Crow in the middle, Ben Orwell and Oleg Labuz. Oh, that's a sloppy pass from Crestani, that's unlike him, and an opportunity for O'Hare. That was ambitious, particularly as Max Davison was standing near enough in his goal. A wasted opportunity there to capitalise on a rare mistake from Cameron Crestani. Sargent heads that ball out off the head of Hayden McHenry, who will take the throw in on the halfway line. Jamie Carroll always watching the ball. He's on this near side, but Toyoshime steals the ball over on that far side. Was there a handball there? No, says Jason Crow. Play on. Western Pride still have it. McHenry makes a run. Carroll doesn't follow him with good reason. Be cut out by Sargent, who wins for throw-in off Hayden McHenry. It's good defending from Cairns. Let us know who you think's going to win this game. Jump onto the Football Queensland Instagram page at FootballQLD. And there you'll be able to vote on who you think's going to win the game on the Instagram story. And you'll be able to see all the behind-the-scenes photos and videos from our live stream here at Briggs Road this evening, where Western Pride and the team have made us very, very welcome. As an opportunity falls for Bird, it's still there for Bird, now falls for Rigby on the edge of the area, crossed by McHenry, and fouled was Sean Owens. Good movement again from Western Pride. Joe Duckworth just a little bit too eager to get over the top of Sean Owens there. And the veteran who only played 5 games in the National Premier League's Queensland last year for Far North Queensland, of course. And Crestani just gives away a fairly soft-looking free kick. That won't worry Cairns, and certainly won't worry Jamie Carroll, who will be looking to deliver this onto the head of either Josh Taylor or Chris O'Hare. Joseph Zupo's trotted upfield as well. Zupo with 1 goal this season in the draw against Olympic. 1 or 2 draws against Olympic. It was the head of Joseph Zupo, who's now out of position, and this could be an opportunity for the host with Parsons. That's excellent defending again from Sean Owens. This is his 69th game in the National Premier League's Queensland for either Cairns or Far North Queensland Heat, as they were formerly known. Toyoshime can't keep that ball in. Scored just for 1 goal back in 2015 against against North Queensland United, formerly known as Northern Fury, of course. A few name changes up north, but personnel and infrastructure remains relatively similar. Here's Delores Toyoshime, does well to keep his feet, continued his run, crosses put into Mitchell Bird. It was a weak one though, and easily dealt with by Joseph Zupo. 25-year-old Canadian, ever watchful in the centre of defence for Cairns this season. Yeah, it was a good interception by Sargent, former Lions reserves player in the BPL. A shot comes in, and it needed to be saved by Clark. Good effort from Mitchell Bird, rather caught us all by surprise, I think. One person who he needed to catch a little bit unawares was Pierce Clark, and he was comfortable in getting down to his right-hand side and making the save. A little bit of confusion there between Rigby and McHenry, and that gives an opportunity for Carroll. Carroll drifts one over the top to Alebi. It's just over his head and will be comfortably gathered by Davison. First real clear-cut opportunity for Western Pride via Joe Duckworth. Mitchell Bird, apologies. The 16th minute of this game is still goalless if you've just joined us. Watching Western Pride versus Cairns in the National Premier League's Queensland. It's launched upfield and headed comfortably back by the head of Cameron Crestani, the former Brisbane Roar youth captain and played a few times for the senior team. 3 Hyundai A-League appearances and 3 times in the Asian Champions League. Here is Rigby up the other end. All the space in the world for Mitchell Bird. Finds his captain again in Rigby. McHenry harassing and harrying and forces Pierce Clark to put that one out right beneath us into the metal hoardings. I'm sure you heard the clang. Crestani will leave it for Hayden McHenry. And Carroll with a bit of a smirk on his face. I'm not sure what that's all about, but he does like a bit of a chirp, does Jamie Carroll. Sean Owens does really well there, puts his body on the line to get that header away. Watched it all the way, no foul. It's a legitimate attempt to get the ball from all 3 players involved there, according to our Total Tools referee, Jason Crow. The ball is headed out by Joe Zupo. Crestani may well pick this up still against Chris O'Hare. Wins the free kick despite being Chris O'Hare being left on the ground. Here's McHenry. McHenry looking for an option. Finds an option in Alex Parsons. It's still there for McHenry. And back to Parsons. Parsons wants to turn. It's deflected away off Coppen. And only cleared as far as Crestani, who surges back towards the edge of the penalty area. Bird, his cross doesn't beat the first man, and it in fact comes off Mitchell Bird, and it will be a goal kick by Pierce Clark. Another promising move for Western Pride, who've really dominated proceedings so far in this game. Pitt offering plenty of advice to Pierce Clark as to where he might want to kick this ball. Right onto the head of Will McFarlane would have been high on their list of options, I would have thought. Parsons, Minette. Duckworth goes down, play on for Parsons. Parsons goes down this time, no foul. Sargent wanted an option, finds it inside, and Harrison Corica. Chris O'Hare dropping deep. Kavanagh. Carroll, it's worked out for him despite the deflection. Here's Corica. Carroll again on this near side. Lovely ball over the head, unfortunately, for Cairns of Gianni Alebi, but nice idea, the right idea from Jamie Carroll to switch play. Gianni Alebi was in all sorts of space over on that far side, being left a little bit alone by Delors Tuashime. Here come the hosts once more. Flicked in towards Duckworth, who remained rooted to his spot around the penalty area. Here's Coppen. Sean Owens being good so far in the first 20 minutes or so of this game. He goes all the way back to Pierce Clark. Simple is the call from Danny Greystone. Lewis Turishime heads that ball away towards Adam Ndine. Ndine goes all the way back to Will McFarlane. Here's Crestani. Western Pride have dominated these first 20 minutes. It's left by Bird for McHenry. McHenry surges. McHenry still McHenry. Ball is flicked across. It's fair for Parsons, is it? Scrambled away by Cairns. Ungiani Alebi wins a throw-in over on that far side. Switch on is the call. I'm not sure which bench said it. I think it might be both of them. It was a golden opportunity for Western Pride to open the scoring, but Cairns are inviting this pressure onto them at the moment. It's their torrid run of form continues. They've lost the last 3, unbeaten winless in 4. And all that after going on a 5-game winning run. Good bit of defending there by Alex Sargent, otherwise Mitchell Bird was away. Good football being played by Western Pride. Ndine. McFarlane goes forward. There's only 2 Western Pride players in their defensive half, and Cam Crestani is right on the centre spot. Only other being Max Davison as they surge forward. Here's Toyoshime's. Get his legs a little bit tangled from under him. Still there for Western Pride. This is a good opportunity. It's a decent shot from Bird, but right into the grateful arms of Pierce Clark. Gratefully received that gift. And then almost gives a gift to Joe Duckworth. Be forgiven for thinking it's Christmas. The amount of offerings being proffered to the attackers in this little period of play. It's a lovely touch from Toyoshime, but a strong tackle from Owens. And Owens wins the throw-in as well. Obviously came off Toyoshime last. That's good football from Owens. Alebi goes on the run. Alebi crosses first time. It didn't get a deflection. It is a goal kick. Midway through this first half, it's Western Pride 0, Cairns 0. Reminder to check out all the features on the Football Queensland website, footballqueensland.com.au. Get all your match round previews, reviews, and your gateway to all the stats and fixture information for the National Premier League's Queensland, Football Queensland Premier League, and the National Women's Queensland. Here's Bird on a surging run. Bird goes round the outside of Coppen. Doesn't have the gas, so cuts back inside. Coppen with him all the way. Lovely ball outside to McHenry. Diving header from Owens. It was acrobatic, but it was certainly effective. Levy lays it off to Chris O'Hare as Cairns look to spark a counter-attack of their own. They're not going to do it if Kavanagh gives the ball away like that. It'll be a throw-in to the visitors over on that far side. Jamie Carroll making a couple of noises on this near side. He's got a lot of space and has repeatedly found himself in a lot of space. That's a poor kick, a poor clearing kick from Pierce Clark. It looked like he got more of the grass and sent up a big spray of dust and perhaps a little bit of dew. But it doesn't look too dewy out there at the moment. Glorious conditions to play football. Not too cold out in the west. Minette, Ndine, Adam Ndine, there now for Parsons. Parsons is dispossessed, but he wins it back, but he's dispossessed a second time, this time by his opposite number, Kavanagh, and he launches a ball upfield. Showboat time from Max Davison. In the left-back position, passes it to the normal left-back, Delors Turashime, who was 20 yards ahead of him. Crestani, delightful ball and delightful touch from Hayden McHenry. Jesse Rigby loses it in close contact, but McHenry chases down and works hard against Jamie Carroll. Carroll does well to retain possession. Henry and Carroll just coming together once more. It was a good tackle from McHenry, gets up rather gingerly, but looks to be okay. It's Crestani mopping up. The ball will go out for a throw-in on this near side. Dean at pains not to concede the foul there. Put the arms up when challenging Ryan Kavanagh. We can't keep the ball in. A little cry of anguish was from 20-year-old Jesse Rigby, the captain of Western Pride. Just couldn't direct that flick round the corner to where Mitchell Bird was waiting. Time waiting for that throw-in to be taken. It was onto the head of Josh Taylor, who looked to direct it towards Jamie Carroll, but it's well mopped up by the Western Pride defence, who've turned defence into attack now. Here's Jesse Rigby. Rigby, it's deflected on its way through. And Dean wide to Delors Turashime. Turashime! Good save by Pierce Clark. You think a fraction either side of him and we might have a slightly different outcome. But Pierce Clark rocked back, having taken that shot low down. It was a fierce one from Delors Turashime, who arrived at real pace from that left-hand side. Good effort again from Western Pride, who have been doing all the running so far in this game. Pierce Clark is really playing with fire at the moment. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one, but he's managed to remain unscalded so far. Carroll over the top towards O'Hare. It's there for O'Hare, is it? Good save by Davison. Still there, cleared by Delors Turashime. It can all change in an instant, this game. And a lovely ball like that from the evergreen Jamie Carroll will be how it will happen. Here's Sean Owens on the other side. Kavanagh, who coughs the ball up, and here comes Joe Duckworth. Duckworth has Mitchell Bird on his outside, chooses to go the other way. And Alex Parsons sees his shot deflected behind for a corner kick. Fantastic passage of play this. Both teams really going at it. Cairns showing just how dangerous they can be through Jamie Carroll. Western Pride just showing off their dominance. It's taken underneath his own crossbar by Pierce Clark, and he releases Jamie Carroll very, very quickly. Carroll only has Josh Taylor in his sights, but instead lofts it over him to Alebi. Alebi is challenged by Delors Turashime, but still retains possession. Ball just too heavy for Taylor. And Cairns unable to make the most of that opportunity. They'll challenge Western Pride first. They try to bring it away, but they won't do so successfully. Here's Jesse Rigby. Has McHenry on the outside. He's created the overlap. Rigby cuts inside, doesn't use his left foot to have the shot, instead finds Adam Ndian. Now uses the right foot to play the ball in towards McHenry. Good cross, and he was just ahead of Mitchell Bird. Another glorious opportunity for Western Pride goes begging. It's a neat flick from Carroll to Taylor. Taylor and Carroll nearly linking up again with Chris O'Hare. That triumvirate are so important for Cairns. They linked up well for the first time in this first half. half an hour into this game. They can't do anything without the ball, and at the moment it's in the capable hands of Western Pride on the edge of the Cairns penalty area. Here's Cam Crestani. Crestani has a dig, comes back off the back of Alex Sargent, and it's helped its way back in, but it was an aimless pass. It will be a goal kick eventually. We're waiting for the ball to be delivered. A little bit of gamesmanship perhaps there in play by Piers Clark, just to rile up the pit. We're giving him plenty of advice as to whether he should have got that ball himself or not. Henry jumps with Josh Taylor. Cairns come up with the ball though. That's excellent balance from Jamie Carroll. Carroll goes round the outside of McHenry. McHenry does really, really well. It will be a corner kick despite Hayden McHenry's protestations. And this could spell danger for Western Pride. A good opportunity to deliver a dangerous ball into the box. Cairns don't need too many opportunities with the strike power that they have. Josh Taylor, Chris O'Hare and Jamie Carroll amongst them. Carroll will be provider this time as Alex Sargent gets some instructions from Danny Greystone. Good corner, is headed clear by Will McFarlane. And now it's a foot race. Alex Sargent and Parsons. Parsons goes down. Sorry, it's Mitch Bird. Jesse Rigby, and Rigby concedes a free kick, and I'm not quite sure what that was for. Carroll switches sides to Alebi. Alebi goes back to Owens, who wants someone to come a little bit closer. Instead goes himself. All the way back to Bronson Coppen, and Coppen to Zupo. Sargent's wide. Zupo has to go back to Coppen, who goes back and turns to Clark. And Clark goes long to Toyoshime. He gets the ball off to Ndin, and Western Pride will build this time. But that's a poor chance by Hayden McHenry, just ran away from it, and here's an opportunity. Brilliant save, Davison. Jamie Carroll doesn't need second invitations often. That's really sloppy from Western Pride, and that's really sloppy from Dolores Toyoshime. Another opportunity for the visitors to attack, this time through Corica. Toyoshime made up for his mistake and managed to clear the ball away, and here come Western Pride for Ndin. Ndin spins away from one. It's a shot away, and it's just across the face from Alex Parsons. Could have been a calamity at one end for Western Pride, and ended up almost being a moment of ecstasy at the other. 33 minutes gone, still Western Pride 0, Cairns 0. Might be goalless, but we haven't been short of entertainment, particularly from the hosts. Western Pride have been full of endeavour in this first half, this first 30 minutes or so of the first half. Carroll tries to convince the Total Tools refereeing team, Jason Crow, that was a Cairns ball as Crestani spreads another beautiful ball over right onto the feet of Dolores Toyoshime. Minette plays that ball forward. Here's Parsons. There's Bird and Duckworth in the middle, but Parsons goes down, no foul. It looked like Parsons was rather bundled to the ground. The youngster, 18 years old, just lifted the shorts up just to check on an injury. Toyoshime jumps highest against Alebi, who questions whether or not there might have been a bit of unnecessary contact from Dolores Turishime to the Total Tools assistant referee over on that far side. Well read by McFarlane. Goes straight back towards Sean Carlos. Carlos to Levy. Levy looking to cross early on every occasion that he has had the ball, and that time it pays off with another corner for Cairns. It's Ryan Kavanagh who's trotting over to take this one, the former Innisfail United junior. The Cairns are massing in the penalty area in their light blue shirts. Deep cross to where there are no Cairns players, only Chris O'Hare who read it. He drifts that ball back in and it was almost onto the head of Taylor. It was well read by Davison. McHenry takes that ball past O'Hare. Suddenly has a little bit of space to operate in and opts to turn on the afterburners. Plays the ball inside to Bird. Bird! Brilliant save by Clark. It's a lovely touch by Mitchell Bird. And that out ball to Jamie Carroll's not working. Crestani picks it up and links up well with Jesse Rigby. Here's Duckworth. Took a deflection. It will be a corner. You'd have to say they're getting closer now as Jesse Rigby asks Hayden McHenry if he'd be keen on getting upfield, and Hayden McHenry, having just run half the length of the field moments before, says, "No, you're all right, Captain, I'll have a little bit of a breather at the back." Oh, it's met by a Western Pride head, and then it's helped back in. It's still there for Western Pride, I think. It might have been Adam Indine who got his head on the ball over on that far side, and it was deflected into the feet of Will McFarlane, who had a bit of a stab at it. Crestani was there too. The upshot of it all is that Pierce Clark will be taking a goal kick and will be thanking his lucky stars that none of those shots managed to find its way through to the back of the net. It's still Western Pride 0, Cairns 0. Corica. Owens. Being very good at right back has Owens so far for Cairns. Coppin to Zupo. Zupo goes on a bit of a run, the Canadian. Finds Owens again. Owens tried to chip that ball through, but he was playing a different game to everybody else on his side, and it was comfortably dealt with by the hosts. Tom Cam Crestani's radar is a little off, and it will be dealt with by Cairns, but only just. Another slightly sketchy pass by Pierce Clark out from the back, but it'll be a Cairns throw. Chris O'Hare helps that one out, and it'll be a Western Pride throw. Rigby goes back to Crestani, his vice-captain who plays with fire, passing that ball inches off the foot of Josh Taylor. Here's Rigby. It's opened up a little bit for Rigby. Now McHenry with the cross. I'll tell you what, it was that man Sean Owens again who was coming back and rescued his centre-backs once again. Another corner in this game. It's still goalless. You can't imagine it'll stay this way for too long. So the ball is drifted in towards the back post. Off the head! And it was helped behind. Will McFarlane, I think it was, who headed the ball back across towards the goal. Another good opportunity. Another corner. Jacob Minette will take this one from the far side. Swings this one in a bit more directly. It was Rigby who managed to get his head onto that, and it was Rigby's head that took the final touch, and despite Cam Crestani almost blowing a fuse at the assistant referee on this near side, it will be a goal kick. Heavy, helpful advice of Pierce Clark, of the pit, sorry, towards Pierce Clark. Launches this one up. Field. I think it came off Rigby last, and he's disappointed with the call, but I think it was a correct one from our vantage point. Carroll with the throw, and then it's Kavanagh who was dispossessed, and Rigby's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet now, and so he races upfield. Uses Mitchell Bird ahead of him, receives the ball back. Inside to Duckworth. Slides it just over the top. Once again, Pierce Clark waiting for the ball, engaging in a bit of a conversation with the pit. Not quite sure that's the best idea he'll have ever had. Pleading to their better nature. Probably not going to work, we'll see from this goal kick. Zero effect. Dolores Tuashime has had plenty of effect in this game. He heads that ball back upfield towards Sean Owens, who makes a very rare mistake in this game. He's been excellent so far on that far side of the Cairns defence, and coughs up possession this time. Here's Minette. It's a nice idea, but it ended up being well read by Sargent, and here is Jamie Carroll. Chips that ball inside to Taylor. Pride come away with it again, McHenry, but Taylor gives that ball away, and you may have heard Hayden McHenry asking his teammate Jacob Minette if he wanted to see him in hospital. It was a hospital pass. Josh Taylor showing enough restraint to not go through Hayden McHenry. Here is McHenry cutting back inside. Duckworth. Wide to Bird. Bird with the cross. It's behind for a corner. Sargent once again doing his defensive duties on the left-hand edge of the Cairns defence. Just 2 minutes before the half-time break. We're not that far away from our first goal, you'd think, but it's felt like that this whole game so far. Just over the head. Rigby chips it back inside. It's anybody's there. It's hacked clear. Falls right to the feet of Jamie Carroll, and Jamie Carroll can produce magic from nothing. Unable to do so that time. The rabbit remaining firmly in the hat as Dolores Tuashime runs down the left-hand side for Western Pride. Comes up against Sean Owens, who brings him down. It will be another free kick over on that far side, and another opportunity to put a ball into the box. They have not made the most of them in this game so far, have Cairns, have Western Pride, apologies. 90 seconds before the half-time interval would be an ideal time to break the deadlock. Minette with a looping effort onto the head of McFarlane, and he can only head it back across to Pierce Clark. It was a poor cross, really. Quite as poor as that exit ball, asking a lot of Jamie Carroll. Duckworth inside to Endean. Into the final minute before the half-time break now is Hayden McHenry. He's been known to put a decent ball inside. Here's Bird. Bird rifles a shot in across the face of goal, and it deflects off Ryan Kavanagh. We'll have another corner before the break. They're adding up now, these corners for Western Pride, but so far Cairns have remained resolute in defence. It's still Western Pride 0, Cairns 0. 25 seconds remaining before the half-time break. It's headed clear by Sean Owens. Shows the dynamism that he has exhibited in a couple of occasions in this first half. It's a good header, far away from danger. Toyoshima has been equally impressive on the left-hand side of the Pride defence, been mostly in an attacking role. There's Minette, back inside to Duckworth. Duckworth receives the ball back, it's fallen for Parsons. We'll have one more corner. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first half. 90 seconds before the half-time break would be a good time to score. 90 seconds after the half-time break should have happened would be even better, you'd think, for the hosts. Either way, Western Pride will feel, by going into the sheds at half-time at 0-0, they'll have wasted too many opportunities. That's a better ball, right onto the head of McFarlane, but it's bundled clear, only as far as Sindian. Sindian delivers the ball back inside. Rigby makes an ambitious attempt to get his head onto that. Cairns try to clear but are unable to do so. We're deadlocked at 0-0 at the break. It's been not from a lack of trying on behalf of Western Pride. They've had a number of sensational opportunities and put so many balls into the box that we've almost lost count. They're unable to make the most of any of them though, and they will go into the sheds goalless at half-time. Just before the break, we will bring you a couple of the scores from around the grounds. We can confirm that Sunshine Coast have been relegated. They have lost at Perry Park to the Brisbane Strikers by 8-1. How sweet that will be for the Brisbane Strikers fans who endured so much heartbreak against the Sunshine Coast Fire in the old Queensland State League, sort of a precursor to the National Premier League Queensland. And in the other 6 o'clock kickoff, bit of a turn up for the books there. Moreton Bay United 1, South West Queensland Thunder 2, with just 2 minutes remaining in regulation time. Just approaching half-time in the other games, up in North Queensland, in a real relegation battle at the bottom. North Queensland are leading Redlands United by 2-1, just approaching half-time there. And Magpies Crusaders, their good form continues. They're leading the Raw Youth by 2-1 up at Soligenkin Oval. 0-0 here at Briggs Road. We'll have a short break to catch our breath and show you a few short messages. Hope you join us after the half-time interval for the second half of Western Pride against Cairns. 0-0 at the break.
Total Tools, we swear by our range, we swear by our service, and of course, we swear by our prices, so you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day, even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
We did great today.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends. When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos. And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun. It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others. My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport. But best of all, we make lots of new friends. And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini-Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Natley from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
A lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
We did great today.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends. When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos. And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun. It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others. My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport. But best of all, we make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Miniroos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Natley from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
Welcome back to Briggs Road, where it is goalless between Western Pride and Cairns in this National Premier League's Queensland Round 23 clash. It's not been from a lack of trying. Western Pride have been absolutely sensational in that first half, creating multiple opportunities. Unfortunately for the home crowd, of which there are a few hardy souls here on a cold evening in Ipswich, a few k's west of Brisbane. They've squandered all of them. It'll be of much frustration to Reg Devani, who I dare say would have had a few conversations at half-time with his strikers, who've just been somewhat unwilling to pull the trigger, and when they have, they've been hitting them straight into the arms of Pierce Clark in the Cairns goal, or the bodies of Sean Owens, Joseph Zupo, Bronson Coppen, or Alex Sargent. We have a slight false start. Total Tools referee Jason Crow. Eventually, we do get underway through Josh Taylor in Cairns, kicking in the blue shirts from left to right, attacking the end where the pit, this is the supporters club here at Western Pride, have been amassed, and have amassed ever since the start of the National Premier League Queensland. They've been vocal as always. We're even heckling their own players in the half-time interval, just in order to keep themselves entertained and warmed in the half-time break. We hope you have been able to do that wherever you're watching from. Do let us know in the Football Queensland Facebook page in the comments. Sean Owens gets his body in the way there. He's been excellent at the back for Cairns. As Sean Owens, he's going to be called upon here once more as Western Pride come away through Duckworth. It's wide to Parsons. It's come off the back of Bronson Coppen, and it's going to come back in by Parsons. Rigby's there. And that's a blistering effort from Hayden McHenry. 21-year-old Aucklander belted that one. It's comfortably saved in the end, though, as it has been all game, by Pierce Clark in the Cairns goal. We've mentioned the Facebook page, which of course you're watching on. We do have an option of watching on YouTube as well, so hope you join us on the Football Queensland YouTube page. And then check out, while you're on YouTube, all the social media channels of Football Queensland at Football QLD for behind the scenes footage and videos and all the latest articles and news from around the National Premier League Queensland, the Football Queensland Premier League and the National Premier League Queensland Women's Competition. Gonia Levy does well there. Delors Torishime is appealing strongly. And it was fruitlessly in the end. Cairns friends throw in the answer. Zupo does well, the big Canadian, to intercept that ball over on that far side. Good work from Owens. Here's Alebi. And Alebi sells Owens short, and Owens brings down Alex Parsons. No foul, says Jason Crow. Perhaps hear what some of the Western Pride supporters and players thought about that. Here's Delors Turishime. That time Owens does well and legitimately gets that ball away for a throw-in, which Turishime will take quickly. It's played back inside to Parsons, who'll win another throw, and it was quick work from Delors Turishime. A nice ball from Joe Duckworth. Here's Bird, looking to turn the corner. He's forced away by a multitude of blue shirts, and now those blue shirts will swarm forward. Josh Taylor receives the ball. Josh Taylor's dangerous in these situations. And he puts that one into the fence where it remains. A lightning counter-attack from the visitors, and they are so dangerous when they get the ball in those open areas, and particularly Josh Taylor, who has scored 20 goals in his 22 National Premier League Queensland games, to sit in second spot in the goal scoring tally behind Dylan Wenzel-Halls, latterly of course of Western Pride. Be strutting his stuff in orange in future, Dylan Wenzel-Halls. And although I have no actual information about this, he may well get his first opportunity in the FA Cup, although we'll wait for this opportunity to be snuffed out by Cairns. Bronson Coppen getting the final touch to hook that ball away. Duckworth is Rigby. Rigby does well to find the outlet ball in McFarlane, who could have taken a touch and in the end played a very untidy ball back where it was intercepted by O'Hare. Here's Taylor. Taylor back inside to Carroll. Carroll to O'Hare. Now wide to Gianni Alebi. Alebi with the drive. It was always off target. And then Cairns are appealing for a back pass. I don't think Crestani intentionally passed it back into the arms of Max Davison. It was more a heavy touch. That's exactly what Cam Crestani would be saying. In fact, Max Davison didn't even need to touch and pick up the ball. Anyway, it was all on his own, and Crestani was in attendance, just as he is now, and being chased down very hard by Jamie Carroll, but manages to win possession, then plays a dangerous ball just out of reach of Chris O'Hare. You wonder if Josh Taylor was the man in that position, whether we might be talking about the opening goal of this game. It is still goalless as things stand. As Mitchell Bird has that one taken off his toes by Joseph Zupo. Throw in a good attacking position for Western Pride. We've been saying that, it feels, for the majority of this game. Western Pride getting in promising positions but unable to make them count. Will they be able to make this one count? Only in as far as getting a corner. They've had plenty of them in this game. Can they deliver a better ball this time? Duckworth will be the man who takes it. Will McFarlane is late arriving, but does get there now. Rigby's there! It was off Rigby's head, but it was straight into Joseph Zupo, who got the final touch to deflect it away. McHenry has possession now. Here is Joe Duckworth. He's going to squeeze across until it's cut out by Alebi, and Cairns will look to break now. Western Pride are chasing back, but here's Jamie Carroll, and Carroll's dispossessed by Delors Tuashime, and Tuashime stands up Sean Owens, and Owens tries to play the ball through towards Bird. Instead it's there for Duckworth, and now wide to Parsons. Corner, Owens recovered brilliantly. He's been very, very good in this game so far, has Sean Owens, and he's had to be. Western Pride have been pressuring all the while. He does well to concede just a throw-in, apologies, and wasn't a corner. To the chest of Ndine that time. It's still there for Adam Ndine, who turns into a spot of bother and gets that ball away to Jacob Minette. Crestani. Now McHenry. McHenry crabbing across field to Duckworth. Duckworth with a drive. Brilliant save by Pierce Clark. That was a wonderful effort from Joe Duckworth. Fired it across the face of goal, and a big strong hand from Pierce Clark to save the bouncing ball. Excellent stuff to preserve the clean sheet. It is still goalless off the back of that Pierce Clark save. The corner comes in right onto the head of McFarlane. It's still there, and it's fallen into the back of the net. Was there a handball? The Cairns players are blowing up. It doesn't matter, because the only man who counts, Jason Crowe, did not see it as a handball, and Western Pride have huffed and they've puffed, and they've finally blown the Cairns house down. It's Western Pride 1, Cairns 0. They're celebrating with Mitchell Bird, so we'll assume that it was he who got the goal. I'll try and get that confirmed. It was pinballing around there. It was certainly off the head of Will McFarlane, who put it back into a dangerous position. And here's an opportunity now for Mitchell Bird. Plays the ball back inside to Parsons. Parsons goes down, gets back to his feet. He has Andin in attendance, who fires it over the bar. A big long look by Jason Crowe at his assistant. Not quite sure what he was looking for, perhaps a touch by Pierce Clark. There was no touch. And I have a feeling Joseph Zupo, the tall Canadian, might be in a spot of bother. He's actually taking himself off for treatment, and this could be a real concern for Danny Greystone. He only has 3 substitutes. One of them, Farron Dempsey, a local youngster. The other, Jackson Riley, a goalkeeper. And the third is him. And he did not want to come on today, and I'm not sure whether or not his 41-year-old body would be able to deal with the efforts that Western Pride are throwing at the defenders that he has on the field at the moment. Here's Duckworth. Rigby tried to squeeze that through. If anything, the goal has galvanised Western Pride even further, and they're enjoying an even greater spell of possession and confidence now. Brilliant from Toyoshime. Brilliant from Toyoshime to give the ball to Parsons. It was well picked up by Clark. Chase went on down there by Alex Parsons on Pierce Clark, who's still able to get the ball away. Had a couple of sketchy clearances in that first half, but that one did find a blue shirt. And what will Cairns offer now? That did look like handball from Cam Crestani. And then he throws the ball away, but just ambiguous enough for it not to be considered a yellow card by Jason Crowe. I'd say Cam Crestani's a little bit lucky there. He has been booked 7 times already this season. And by the letter of the law, you could say that that should be the 8th, but that's not how Jason Crowe saw it, and free kick is all it will be, and it was well delivered by Carroll, but Davison collected well. And it's worth remembering that Cairns are still a man down. Joseph Zupo has withdrawn himself injured, and he certainly can't continue. His groin, he's holding his right side of his groin down to our left-hand side. He will not continue, and the substitution will be made, and it is going to be Farron Dempsey who comes on. I imagine Danny Greystone will have to reshuffle things a little bit. At the moment, it looks like Ryan Kavanagh has dropped back into centre-back position. It is going to be Farron Dempsey. But he won't be able to come on the field until Western Pride have had their fill with this attack. What's well nipped in there was McHenry. There's Endin on the edge of the penalty area, and he tried to squeeze that ball across towards Parsons. It was intercepted by Owens, and then he did manage to get a shot away, Parsons. But it was a no match, Pierce Clark. Here's O'Hare. It's a lovely ball back inside. But Harrison Corica coughs up possession. Sean Owens does well, but Western Pride retain possession this time. Owens has been good. It's still worth remembering he's had a long time out of the game last year. Only managed 5 games in total. 10 men of Cairns holding their own for the moment. We're only down to a 10 men due to an injury by Joseph Zupo. We're still waiting for Farron Dempsey to come on. He's warming up and trying to limber up in front of us, and he has a lot of strapping on his left knee. Aidan McHenry just chips that ball right into the path of Piers Clark. It's been a long period of play without the ball going out of play. Levy aims that ball long towards Carroll, who is cutting a lonely figure up front on his own at the moment, and still Farron Dempsey waits. He's been on the bench a few times and come off the bench only a handful of times for Cairns this season. Here's Jacob Minette. It's a nice ball all the way across, and it needed a touch, and it was a brilliant touch from Bronson Coppen. We need to have the substitution. Of course, there's no use in waiting because they're not exactly replacing anybody who's on the field at the moment. The officials just trying to work out and Cairns are back up to a full complement. Farron Dempsey. Is it going to make a difference? It was McFarlane again causing all sorts of problems from a corner for Western Pride. He got a final touch. And now that's ambitious from Delors Toyoshime. I'm sure he won't be allowed to do that too many more times. Having said that, it might have been worth the effort. Not too far ahead of Gianni Alevi, and Western Pride will come again. This is not intelligent play from Cairns. They need to get hold of the ball as much as possible. Goes without saying, really. They've been unable to do that so far in this match, all 60 minutes of it. Western Pride come again. Rigby. Mitchell Bird is dispossessed over on that far side. He had Rigby on his inside. How good it would be for him to mark his return. It's been a few games now, but it really feels like he's back in the game now. You expect him to play all 90 minutes. As long as the game's safe, you'd expect. McFarlane doing well to play that ball forward. Cairns sitting deep. Duckworth back to Minette. Rigby. Duckworth. Duckworth has another attempt. It was blocked at first chance by Sean Owens. Seems to be getting everywhere across that back line, Sean Owens. He's going to be called upon again, you'd think. As Clark puts that ball up over halfway where Crestani picks it up, and Minette picks it up once more. McFarlane. Endean. Back to Minette. Minette tries the glory pass, and it was far too straight. No angle on it, but that throw-in was straight onto the chest of Jesse Rigby, who does seem to appear in many different places at once, such as his endeavours and his work rate in the middle of the park for Western Pride. Nevertheless, that's no excuse for putting it right onto his chest. Coppen goes back to Clark. There's good pressure from Alex Parsons. He's been pressuring all game so far, and here's Parsons with an effort. It wasn't Parsons, it was Duckworth. And it wasn't very far away. You see our first substitution of the night for Western Pride, who have a fair few more options than Cairns do on the bench. One of those is Neelan Brown, the 23-year-old, former Mogul and Brisbane Force and even Ipswich Knights player. Just down the road, the Ipswich Knights. He's been with the Pride since 2015. He replaces Jacob Minette, who's had a good shift in the centre of the park for 20-year-old. Former Australia under-19 schoolboy. Lions and Olympic junior. And McHenry ended up in a heap on the deck. As Cairns push forward. It's a nice touch by O'Hare. Here's Carroll. And he's dispossessed by Crestani. And now Rigby with a little flick. That draws a gasp of appreciation from the pit down to our right. They really enjoyed seeing their captain doing that and seeing him back on the field after his knee injury. He's only missed a handful of games, Jesse Rigby, but you feel those absences were keenly felt for the Pride. Came at about the same time that Dylan Wenzel-Halls was signed for the Roar, and there was a minor slump for the Pride in that period. They suffered 2 consecutive defeats to Brisbane City in the Cup and League. Managed to retain their position in the top 4 though, and they've continued to score goals with some alacrity. They've scored more than 23. They scored 23 more, than their closest challenger in the National Premier League Queensland, in league leaders Lions, as Bird gets that ball across and it's taken off the head of his own defender by Pierce Clark. Gets it forward to O'Hare. Rigby's down, but he's only tying his shoelaces. It's a decent ball by the substitute Dempsey. Forced Josh Taylor to work, but he was unable to get there ahead of Will McFarlane, and that's a flying effort from Pierce Clark to get that ball away from danger, and it's fallen, thankfully for Cairns, to a blue shirt, and O'Hare and Sargent over on that far side. That's nice. Here's Chris O'Hare again. Kavanagh wants it, and Kavanagh gets his wish. Delivers a high looping ball towards Carroll at the back post, and safety first. Hayden McHenry gets that one out for a corner. Wouldn't necessarily say it was needless, but I'm not sure Jamie Carroll would have been able to keep it in. And you so often see these situations turn into goals for the opposition, almost innocuous corners given away. This is a good opportunity for Cairns, who don't have everybody in the box, it has to be said. It's going to fall on the edge to O'Hare, is it? But no. Edmund Dean gets that ball upfield to Parsons, it was. Then Bird goes down, free kick. Sean Owens is unhappy with that. He's moved into the centre-back position, having performed so brilliantly at right-back for Cairns so far in this game. And Pride wanted that to be taken quickly, but Jason Crowe has brought a halt to all that, particularly in that Cairns had set up their wall about 5 yards away from the ball as opposed to the required 10. Free kick is way over the bar. That's a bit of a disappointment there. Joe Duckworth, if he had his time again, would perhaps choose a different option. It was worth having an effort on goal, you'd have thought, but you feel that chances will continue to come, particularly if Cairns give the ball away like that. But they've been matched in that regard, in that occasion, by Western Pride. And it's only a loose pass that's coughed possession up once more. There's a chase for Sean Owens. Passed out. towards the substitute, Farron Dempsey, and Dempsey on the ball once more. Cairns keep the ball on the deck to get it upfield and then go aerial to send it back to Ryan Kavanagh. Kavanagh is caught in possession by his opposite number, Alex Parsons, but it's only at the cost of a throw-in. Thompson Coppin, the former Brisbane City defender. Nice flick over on that far side, and another one from Sargent. And Sargent goes down, tangling with Hayden McHenry. The whistle has gone. It's a free kick to Western Pride, much to the visitors' frustration. Alex Sargent is asking a few questions of the assistant official over on that far side. It's a 50-50 challenge there. Sargent involved again. Will be a goal kick. Don't forget, we have our Football Queensland Premier League clash coming to you live on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channel tomorrow. Sunshine Coast will be taking on Souths United at Ballinger Park from 4 o'clock. So join Rafe Griffin up on the Sunshine Coast for your Sunday afternoon football. Meanwhile, still a quarter of the game remaining here, and there's plenty of goals left in this match as Mitchell Bird races down the wing. That's a good tackle by Sean Owens. He hoped for the double whammy of winning the throw-in as well. He didn't get that, but he has left his opponent on the deck. It's Mitchell Bird, I believe, who's slow to get up. McHenry racing into the penalty area, and then Owens wins the free kick this time. Just joined us, the Western Pride goal came from a free kick. I believe Mitchell Bird got the last touch in the 54th minute. There were big appeals for a handball. I have to say, I didn't see it where I was, but nevertheless, that's not to say that it didn't happen. And the adamancy that Pierce Clark was showing in his appeals would suggest that he had a pretty good view of it if it was a goal. Here's Mitchell Bird racing into a penalty area. Good save, Clark. And then Farron Dempsey shows his composure by taking it back into the danger area before launching that ball upfield towards Jamie Carroll, who shows his petulance by flicking the ball away after it went out on the full from Dempsey's pass. Just blocked before Joe Duckworth was able to get onto the end of that pass, and it's come to his opposite number, O'Hare. Here's Carroll. Carroll will send this crossfield to Alebi. Alebi heads down towards Josh Taylor, who has been largely frustrated and, you have to say, anonymous in this game so far. He's hardly had any of the ball to work with, although he's had a couple of opportunities to chase down his defenders and put Max Davison under pressure in the Western Pride goal, but there haven't been any real good opportunities on goal as Sean Owens continues to impress at the back with that bustling move. Long ball by Kavanagh. Too long and too close to Davison for Jamie Carroll to get hold of. And Davison gets the ball upfield to McHenry, who has all the time in the world to pick up Endine. Still with Endine. He has options ahead of him. Unfortunately, he found the foot of Sean Owens again. He's everywhere in that back line, Sean Owens. He's put under pressure now, though, by Parsons. Inside to O'Hare. Now here's one for Josh Taylor to chase after. Try and put Will McFarlane under pressure, and Max Davison, who launches that ball forward. Kavanagh was underneath it. He sends the ball to Dempsey. Dempsey goes wide to Sargent. It's Good moves by Jamie Carroll. He couldn't find Sargent. Here's Corica. Still with Corica. Corica goes wide to Kavanagh. Leby. He's dispossessed. And the ball is now upfield with Parsons, and Parsons has room to move now. Parsons has moved to run into. It's opened up like the Red Sea. Another timely intervention from Sean Owens. Here's Dean to Rigby. Substitute. Neelan Brown. A bit sloppy. And an opportunity for Cairns now through Taylor. Taylor needs support. Gets it, but forces Leby to stop his run. Here's O'Hare. O'Hare goes wide to Sargent. Sargent to Carroll. Carroll back to Owens. He's been best on field for Cairns so far, Owens. Be fitting if he plays a part in any equaliser that might come from this move. Kavanagh. Back wide to Corica. Corica with the cross. It's fair for Leby. And Western Pride, for the first time in this game really, have been put under pressure, and they've been able to stand up to that pressure. Here comes Joe Duckworth, fighting fire with fire. Now Parsons. Parsons with the cross. Owens again with the deflection. He'd have to be a candidate for Team of the Week. Sean Owens. Been magnificent so far for Cairns. You could put him in right back, centre back, left back, wherever you want. He's been brilliant in all of those positions in the heart of the defence for Cairns. As that shot comes in from Bird. And it deflects wide for a corner. Western Pride perhaps a little bit startled by that defensive work they've just had to put in. Decided it's time to get their heads back in the game and perhaps create another few opportunities of their own. They still lead by 1-0. Mitchell Bird, the unconfirmed goal scorer of the first goal. Needed a touch from Clark. That's exactly what he was able to provide. Here's Owens. Owens to Carroll. Leby. Leby to Carroll, but it's cut out by Cam Crestani. He watched that well. We'll see our second substitution of the game for Western Pride. As Joe Duckworth steals possession over on that far side and goes on a little meandering run of his own, but he coughs up possession now to Chris O'Hare. That's dangerous. Here comes O'Hare now. Western Pride are back in numbers. Cairns are forced back. Owens just shows a little bit too much of it to Mitchell Bird. Still there though for Cairns with Sargent. Sargent goes down. It's there for Leby though, and here's Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor goes down. Let's see what happens here. Jason Crow's having a little bit of a word. Going to be a yellow card. There's not much sympathy being shown from the pit. I think it must have been a yellow card to Chris O'Hare. I didn't see a card being shown. It may have been while I was looking away. Again, the pit just displaying their sympathies with Cairns. Mitchell Herman is having to wait a fair amount of time to make his second appearance of his senior National Premier League's Queensland career, as that corner is deflected all the way across to Mitchell Bird, and an opportunity now for Western Pride on the counter-attack. Bird has Duckworth on the inside. That was sloppy from Bird, sorry. He just flapped at it a little bit and flapped at his opponent. And Kavanagh went down, and it was a fairly simple decision. It wasn't Kavanagh, sorry, it was Alex Sargent. Mitchell Herman is going to come on, and he's going to replace Alex Parsons, who's been very good, the 18-year-old. Local boy Alex Parsons, very impressive performance. He was part of the under-18 side that won the 2017 National Premier League Queensland Premiership. But Mitchell Herman making just his second appearance off the bench for Western Pride. 17 years old. Good moment for him. This could be a better moment. Down on this left-hand side, it's a foot race with Kavanagh, which Herman wins fairly easily, but he was unable to provide the final ball after the run. Owens, side to Taylor, and then the ball just hits the boardings just beneath our feet. Cairns are enjoying a decent spell of possession now, and if Western Pride have taken their foot off the gas, it's worth remembering they only lead by a goal to nil, despite their dominance in the first hour of this game. If they're not careful, Cairns will get themselves back into it for the final 9 minutes or so of this match. Coppin to Owens, back to Coppin. Coppin under pressure from Herman, but it's launched upfield by Clark. Lovely flick from Sargent. He's shown that a few times in this game, much to the surprise of the crowd. Sure if that's a mark of endearment from the pit, the frequent whooping and surprise of the flicks. Perhaps it is, perhaps not. That's a lovely touch from Mitchell Bird to take it away from Sean Owens. Owens does just enough, though, to dispossess Joe Duckworth when he was on the ball, and it's still there. Cleared only as far as Adam Indian. It's here for Joe Duckworth. Duckworth, fancy feet from Duckworth, in off the crossbar. And it's not in off the crossbar. It is in off the crossbar. It looked in at first glance. Pierce Clark made every attempt to say that it wasn't, but it's a glorious goal from Joe Duckworth. You'd have to say that seals the points for Western Pride and secures finals football. Well, the ball that nearly ended up on our heads was kicked by Cam Crestiani, and he has earned his 8th yellow card of the season. It's a fairly silly way to give away a yellow card, and what I think is a suspension. I'll stand to be corrected by that, I'm sure, by one of you commenters on Facebook, but it's not a lot of maturity there from Cam Crestani, the vice-captain of Western Pride. His side do lead, though, by 2-0 with time running out, and Cairns, for all the efforts that they put to attempt to get back into this game, you'd have to say have been for nothing with that goal. It was a lovely goal, lovely individual goal from Joe Duckworth. Fancy feet. And then a fairly fancy finish to see things off as well. In off the crossbar. Here's Chris O'Hare. What can he conjure up for the visitors? Pass to Kavanagh is all he can manage thus far. He receives it back, though, and then leaves a foot on Adam Indian. No foul. Crestani. Ball upfield to the substitute, Neelan Brown. Nice pass, asking a fair bit of Hayden McHenry. Sean Owens is there to cut that ball off. Poor touch from Bird, and then that allowed Sargent to nip in and steal that ball, but he turns it over to Rigby. So Hare tried to take the shirt off Joe Duckworth's back, it looked like. Might have heard the voice of Reg Devani there, just imploring his team to manage the game but not drop their standards. It's too easy to become a little bit lackadaisical, but the way Western Pride have been able to control possession for the vast majority of this game, it has to be said, so that they're more than capable of seeing out the remaining 5 minutes or so of this match and see off another win, their 18th of the season, to help secure second spot for another week. Here's O'Hare, surging run, gets a shot away at the end of it, bounced awkwardly in front of Davison, but it was comfortably gathered into his chest. Just bringing a couple of other scores from around the grounds. We've already given you the full-time score at Perry Park. It's 2 players lying on the floor. Referee Jason Crow's having a long look at that. We'll keep half an eye on it as well, as Mitch Herman concedes a free kick up the other end, and that allows Jason Crow a legitimate reason to blow the whistle and stop the game. It's Josh Taylor who's down, holding his ankle. I think Hayden McHenry was the Western Pride player, although the way that Will McFarlane's limping around, it may well have been he. Again, no sympathy being proffered by the pit. Although it does sound like they're quite pleased that the physio managed to make it onto the field to Josh Taylor on time. While we do have this break in play, it is worth reminding you that there is another game from the Football Queensland Premier League being brought to you on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channels tomorrow. It's Sunshine Coast Wanderers against South United from Ballinger Park. Make sure you tune in at 4 o'clock for all the action. Rafe Griffin will be the man who brings you that. A couple of other games happening in Queensland next week as well. Brisbane Roar taking on Melbourne City on Tuesday at Dolphin Stadium, while Gold Coast Knights host Newcastle at Seba Super Stadium down at Robina. Both at 7:30, both on Fox Sports. I'm sure both sides will want your support at the ground. So if you're in the vicinity on Tuesday night, make sure you get down there and support your Queensland sides in the FFA Cup and see if they can join Cairns and Lions in the round of 16. Lions, they play Gold Coast United tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Olympic and City also take on each other at 6 o'clock on Sunday. A repeat of the 2013 National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final. Nice little flicks there from Sargent. Gets the ball under control in the end and hits that one high over the bar. In the other scores today, Perry Park, just a reminder that Brisbane Strikers relegated Sunshine Coast with an 8-1 victory there. Sunshine Coast needed a win and nothing else. Instead have become the third side to be relegated to the Football Queensland Premier League in the history of the competition. Mr. Lois Toyoshime goes on a little run. Good turn from Mitch Bird. Turns into a little bit of trouble though from the substitute Dempsey. Dempsey's still there just to interrupt play. Lovely football, lovely feet from Duckworth. Lost Toyoshime getting in his way rather there. Here's Brown. Duckworth wide. Here's McHenry. Lovely fleet from Brown. Lovely feet from Brown. Well, it was Bird, apologies. Long ball upfield to Alebi. Carroll goes down, looked shoulder to shoulder with McHenry, but it's a fairly firm shoulder to shoulder. And now that might be nasty from Jamie Carroll. I have to say I'm surprised that card's only yellow. That was an unnecessary reaction from Jamie Carroll. And he needs to step away from this, the Cairns captain, and feel blessed by Jason Crow's leniency. That was completely unnecessary. It was a shoulder-to-shoulder collision with Hayden McHenry that sparked the arguments, and now Carroll is being led away by Alex Sargent, a player of Jamie Carroll's experience, should know better. And he can count himself very fortunate not to have been sent off here. There's still a conversation going on. It's Jesse Rigby, his opposite number, trying to calm him down over on that far side, I think. No, it might be Henry himself, actually. Cairns are throwing caution to the wind. I think it might be Pierce Clark who takes this free kick, but a moment of real drama here at the end of this game. You have to say it's an extraordinary decision by Jason Crow not to send Jamie Carroll off for that. He reacted badly to being knocked to the ground in what looked like a shoulder-to-shoulder collision, as Mitchell Bird is withdrawn in favour of Wilfred Phillip, who'll be making his debut in the National Premier League's Queensland for Western Pride. So South West Queensland junior, a product of Toowoomba, and has been with the Pride since 2015. Never even played for the under-20s this year, as Davison comfortably comes to claim that. Here is Wilfred Phillip. Cuts back inside. It's a nice ball to Duckworth. Duckworth's dispossessed by a multitude of blue shirts. It's Coppen. Phillip still challenging, still testing, forces a mistake, and Dean has the ball now. Here's Duckworth. Duckworth plays that one behind Brown. He gets there ahead of Sean Owens. Ball is whipped in, it's cleared by Coppen of the near post. Cairns players going down left, right and centre. Looks like it's just cramp. We're in stoppage time. We've been in stoppage time a while. There's been a fair amount of it, especially after that late melee. Prestani is the Western Pride player closest to Jamie Carroll at the moment. There's no words being exchanged between the two of them, which you'd have to say is a rarity. Well, there's definitely a sniper. Alex Sargent has gone down on a couple of occasions. He's worked hard, has Alex Sargent. He's displayed a multitude and bevy of flicks and tricks over on that far side in this second half, but to no avail in terms of any meaningful action, any meaningful result. Just being informed by Ola Glabuz in front of us that we are in the final minute of the match. It will be a comfortable win in the end for Western Pride. That is the final whistle blown by Jason Crow. You can't say that Western Pride didn't deserve that win. It was a comfortable 2-0 victory. In the end, Cairns did attempt to get themselves into the game in the final quarter of an hour, but by then it was far too late. And Joe Duckworth's wonderful individual effort capped off a fine performance from him personally, adding to Mitchell Bird's 54th minute goal. His goal came in the 83rd minute to seal it. And Western Pride are certain of playing finals football next year. This season, sorry, in a couple of weeks' time. They play Raw away next weekend, then Redlands United here at Briggs Road in their final home game of the season, regular season that is, and then they are away at Corporate Travel Management Stadium against Brisbane City in the final game of the season. Cairns, they play their last home game at Barlow Park next week against fellow FFA Cup round of 16 participants Lions. They then travel to Moreton Bay United and South West Queensland Thunder to round out what has been a rather disappointing season for them. There was late drama in this one. Jamie Carroll showing an elbow to Hayden McHenry after the two of them engaged in a bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder tussle. Carroll went down, and then when he got up, having won the free kick, slammed Hayden McHenry to the ground. He only got shown a yellow card from Jason Crowe, which may have been a surprise, but it did keep 11 men on the field all at once. We'll just round up the scores from around the grounds. Sunshine Coast are down. They lost 8-1 to Brisbane Strikers at Perry Park, to confirm what has been a fairly disappointing season for the Sunshine Coast Kawana-based side. Moreton Bay United have been surprised and shocked by South West Queensland Thunder at Walter Park. They've lost there by 2-1. That's made things a little bit more interesting in the race for the finals. The Strikers look for their 14th year in a row of finals football. It's still a long shot, but if Moreton Bay United drop points, then it's a possibility. Magpies Crusaders, they won by 6-2 over Brisbane Raw Youth. And North Queensland United are thumping Redlands United by 5-1 up in Townsville. They're in the closing stages of that match there. Thank you very much for joining us here at Briggs Road. Don't forget, Sunshine Coast Wanderers against Souths United from Ballinger Park at 4 o'clock tomorrow. As for me, Simon Smale, it's been a pleasure to bring you this action on Saturday evening, a chilly Saturday evening from Ipswich. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. This has been a double take production for Football Queensland. We hope to see you next time with all the action from the Football Queensland Premier League. Good night.